You said it. You said the bed.
Okay, and hold on, I got one more thing to do. Hold on, let me print. I gotta print these questions out. Okay, all right. Okay, so all right, here we are. Okay, so good afternoon. We are here for an interview of, some may call her cousin, some may call her mother, grandmother, great grandmother, aunt, Elberta Peoples Turner. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
good afternoon. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay, all right. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for agreeing to take out some of your time to answer these questions. And even though there's certain things that I know about you, I'm approaching this like basically as if I don't know. So, like I said, don't assume that I know things. So I'm just going to ask you we'll start off with some basic questions. So, first of all, your full name is Alberta. Or what's your middle name?
Okay, my name starts with E. I'm Elberta,
Elberta. I'm sorry, Elberta.
and
Okay.
I don't have a middle name, so I just usually put Peoples.
Okay, got you. Okay. All right. What's your birthday?
February 18th, 1943.
Got you. Got you. Okay. And your current location is
Gilmer,
Okay,
Gilmer.
you're in Gilmer. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Got you. Got you. And what's your husband's name?
Eddie Wayne Turner.
Okay. And your kids?
Jerry Danette Prince and Baron Jarrell Turner.
Gotcha. Okay, so all right. So let's move into our early life. Okay, so you were born February 18th, 1943. Can you name well, I'm sure you can. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say can you, but please give us the names of both of your parents.
My dad was J.D. Peoples
Okay,
Sr., and my mother was Ronnie King of Peoples.
gotcha. Okay, okay. All right. Can you name your siblings? And if possible, can you name them in order?
Okay, Noble Jean Hill Peoples. P-
Mhm.
okay, Kester Hugh Peoples.
Kester.
Elbert Kester, Kester.
Gotcha.
And I'm Elberta Peoples Turner.
Okay.
Chester Earl Peoples. You got Chess?
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Yeah, yeah, I got you. You can just keep going.
J- JD Peoples Jr.,
Mhm.
John Oscar Peoples, Al Marie uh, Pe- Peoples, Eddie,
Mhm.
William Theodis Peoples,
Mhm.
Joe Curtis Peoples, uh, did we call John? Okay.
Uh,
Okay, Joker and Filbert Vanchet Peoples.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So, where were you born? What was your home? Like, what's your hometown?
Diana, Texas. It
Okay.
was when I was born. It was James, Texas.
Got you. Okay. Do you know any reason why it changed names or anything behind that?
Well, at the time, it was James, Texas, and then they went to Diana, so they just did away with the James, Texas.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, what grade schools did you attend?
I attended 1 through 12.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the school?
Mount Enterprise.
Okay, and it was 1 through 12 school. What do you
Oh,
remember? I'm sorry.
went to Mount Enterprise through the ninth grade, and
Okay,
then Valley View High School from 10th through the 12th grade.
okay, Valley View. Okay, so let's look back at Mount Enterprise School. Do you have what memories do you have of Mount Enterprise element of school?
Oh, I remember being a little girl,
Mhm.
there, and I remember we didn't have any inside facilities or anything at Mount Enterprise.
Hmm.
And then when we went to Valley View, it was a little better. We had some inside facilities, and at Mount Enterprise, they had to play ball outside. They didn't have a gym or anything. But when we went to Valley View, they built a gym, so we had a gym at
Okay,
Valley View. It was a little bit better.
okay. Do you
Hmm.
remember any of your teachers from Mount Enterprise? We'll start off with Mount
Yeah,
Enterprise and then Valley View.
yeah. From Mount Enterprise was Miss Melissa Wallace and I remember Miss Cassie May Starr and Miss Nellie May Hale
Okay,
and uh oh, after Miss Williams.
okay,
Um, and after that, Albert Crowe,
okay,
Miss Opal Ford.
okay. All right. Well, who do you, what kind of student were you? Were you a good student, very studious and everything, or were you kind of
No,
acting up a
got
little
by.
bit? Okay. What had like it like we always hear we kind of like refer back back in the day, like what would happen if a kid got out of line back in your day, back in elementary and high school?
They would use a strap on them.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right. So while you were in grade school, were you in school with any kind of cousins, brothers and sisters?
Yes, all of the Jones kids, the older ones, and other some of the other peoples,
Hmm.
um, just uh, just most of the community.
Okay, because I would assume that is it safe to assume that it was segregated, that was the school where the black kids went to?
It was just only black kids,
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All
and
right.
I went to school with only black kids all the way through school.
Okay. Okay. Um, let me see. All right. So let's move into your teenage years. What was it like being a teenager in Diana, Texas? You were born in 1943, so you would have been a teenager, I guess, in the mid 50s. So what's like describe life as a teenage, girl, black, African American girl in Diana, Texas, in the 50s.
Well, we had to work in the fields and things, Uh, uh, we didn't have a car, of course,
Okay.
so we didn't go many places, unless it was somewhere we go on the bus, on the school bus or something. But we didn't do no lot of going and stuff nowhere but the church and the
Okay.
school and back home.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you have any special friends that you remember from your teenage years?
Yes, Lavelle Blackman, Dorothy Jewel Eddy, uh, Jean Albert Crowe, uh, and some others,
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
but
who
those
did you
were my
all?
main friends.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. What did you like to do for fun as a teenager, or what did you all like to do? When you weren't, kind of like doing schoolwork or working.
It wasn't much to do.
Hmm.
We would go next door and watch TV because we didn't have a TV of our own.
Okay.
And then in the summer, we would be busy, trying to make us a little extra money and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay.
it wasn't a whole lot going on.
I got you. I got you. I got you. But the little bit that was going on is very, very, like very important. Like, and yeah, that's definitely fascinating. Okay, let me ask you this. Okay. Um, being a black female back then, did you feel and kind of moving from, kind of like childhood, teenage years into young adulthood, did you feel any kind of pressure as far as people not believing that a girl or a woman could do certain things, or you didn't really think of it? Like what are your thoughts on that, like as far as like being not only being black in that time period but also being a woman?
You know, I didn't think much about it because it wasn't anything that I knew when I finished school, I wanted to be a beautician.
Hmm.
And so after I finished school, I went to Sweats Beauty College in Tyler, Texas, got
Okay.
my license. And then I moved to Dallas and stayed a few years. And then after Eddie and I got married in 64, we lived in Longview for about 3 years, and then we moved to Amarillo.
Okay. Got you. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you went to beauty school. You lived in Dallas. How long did you live in Dallas?
About 3 years.
Okay. Were you married yet, or would you
Uh,
single?
I got married when I moved back to Longview
Okay.
in mm, 60 64, I think.
Okay.
And let me see. Moved back to Longview, and we stayed in Longview for 3 years before we went to Amarillo.
Okay. Got you. Okay. So what do you remember? What year you went? You all moved to Amarillo?
What year did we move back there? Move there? And when we moved to Amarillo in 71.
Okay. Got you. 1971. Okay. All right. So while we're kind of on the topic of you getting married, tell us about your husband Eddie and cousin Eddie, and also like how did you all meet, and maybe a little bit of the courtship.
Okay, we were classmates at Valley View from the 10th grade to uh till we finished.
Okay.
And we didn't we had we I liked him, but I don't know how much he liked me. I was kind of shy,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
um he went to Prairie View and finished Prairie View,
Okay.
and that and then he moved to Dallas, and then that's when our relationship got serious, and that's where we got married at in Dallas.
Okay. All right. All right. So he moved. So after he finished college, he moved to Dallas and reconnected with his old classmate, and the rest is history from there.
He moved, and then we stayed in Dallas for a short span of time. I was in Dallas before we got married, but we stayed in Dallas for a short span of time, and then we moved. That's when we moved back to Longview,
Okay, got you.
and we stayed there. And moved to Amarillo in when is
You said 71.
71. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, wonderful. So one question I have on here is did as far as the courtship, did he like talk to your parents, first, or did you all kind of come back and tell him, hey, we getting married, whether y'all like it or not, or how did that go?
Well, I was in Dallas. We were in Dallas, so we did it. It got no. We didn't talk to him about it.
Okay,
No,
okay. All right. Well, your husband's a wonderful guy, so I'm sure your mom and dad didn't mind.
My mother thought there was nobody like him.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go backwards a little bit. All right. The next question, the next couple of questions are about just what was like your views as far as what was going on in America. Okay. So first, what what would you say about race relations between black, white, and I'm not sure if there were any others around, but what were race relations? I can't talk race relations like as a kid.
And there was there. We we were in Diana, black people were in one area and the white were in another area, so there was no race, relations.
Okay. Okay. Do you ever remember maybe going going to any spaces where blacks and whites might have crossed paths, or are you saying that you just really don't remember really interacting?
We just didn't do much. No,
Okay.
but the only place that when no, we didn't have any relations with the
Okay.
white.
Okay. Got you. Got you. All right. What about okay? When was your first time, or did you? I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna assume. Did you experience racism?
All my life.
Okay,
I,
so
I,
tell us about maybe your early experiences of racism.
well, when Eddie on the buses and stuff. Well, in Dallas. Well, I
Okay,
guess in that when I lived in Dallas,
okay.
because when after I moved to Amarillo, I had good friends, white friends there.
Hmm.
Went to church with whites, and like I said, I I went. I sewed home interiors. And then I would go to seminar, and I'd be the only black in our little
Uh-huh.
group. That, and we just mixed together, and we I slept with them, and I got to where I would go to their houses and stuff. So
Hmm.
I would say a good relationship with white friends in Amarillo.
Amarillo. Okay, got you. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's
Does
almost
that make sense?
yeah, yes, it does. It does, and it also makes sense. I'm not trying to put in my own, kind of biases or whatever, but it seems that you start moving further west away from the south, things got a little bit better. I mean, you still had things, but it was more, you tended to have
Yeah,
that. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, okay. So what about all right? Do you remember the murder of Emmett Till?
yes, I do.
Okay. Do you remember how old you were and your first reaction to hearing or seeing about it?
I was heard about it. Watching it on the news and stuff like that. But I've never gotten off into much politics.
Okay. Do you remember how
Mm.
old you were when you found out, when you remember hearing about Emmett Till?
I didn't understand you.
I'm sorry. Do you remember how old you were when the Emmett Till tragedy happened?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
That's okay. Yeah, we can. I mean, we can look at the dates. Okay, no problem. Okay. What about the Brown versus Board of Education, like when they started desegregating schools and you started kind of seeing more kind of like Martin Luther King type marches and things of that nature. What was going on in your head when you saw those images or began to hear about the civil rights?
I Like I said, I just never got into
You didn't get
politics that much, and
okay.
I remember being hurt. I remember it was in 1963, I think.
Hmm.
I I rode the book. I was in Dallas when President Kennedy was killed, and I was at
Okay.
work that day.
Okay.
But who died? Uh, President Kennedy died before Martin Luther King, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. I'm not a date. Yeah, but yeah, I believe it was like Kennedy. And then you had Martin Luther King. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
believe
and
so.
that evening when I got off from work, the buses were just about empty because it had shocked people so bad, and
Hmm.
most of the people had gotten off from work and went home.
Right.
The ones that had to ride the bus to and from work.
Okay.
But and then when it turned around and happened to President Martin Luther King, it was another shocker. It
Mm.
hurt. It bothered me real bad.
Right. Right. Definitely. Okay. All right. So my last couple of questions about just about that time period, and actually we're kind of moving more into the late '60s. Um, did you what did you think about like the Black Power movement as far as like when people started kind of wearing afros and kind of getting into like Africa and things like that? How did you feel about that, or do you remember that?
Oh, those afros were pretty. I used to have to braid Eddie's hair every night for him to fluff his
Hmm.
big afro out every morning to go to work and stuff. And but I was just kind of basically a square. I didn't do much.
Okay. Okay, it's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, but like I said, just kind of just seeing the transition, and things of that nature, very very interesting. Okay, all right, and then okay, so let me kind of go back. Okay, before we kind of get into family lineage, let me go back into like life in Amarillo. Okay, so you all moved to Amarillo in 1971. Um, and you've already kind of touched on this, but can you kind of compare, life in East Texas, Longview, Diana, compared to life in Amarillo? What were some differences with living, in East Texas versus Amarillo?
Well, when we moved there, we moved in a much better place.
Okay.
Much better home and stuff. But my children were the only. Well, I think it might have been one or two others at that school, and Brent Byron made it all right, but Jerry had a pretty rough time of it.
Okay.
You
Was she
know,
are you
and
like making friends, or was she having to like fight, people for
yeah,
disrespecting
she was.
her?
That's where I think where she learned how to fight,
I
and she was,
can imagine it.
and,
Yeah.
and she and some of the she had one. Well, some of the teachers weren't fair.
Hmm.
At the school that they was started out at.
Okay.
Some of them just wasn't fair.
Okay. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. And let me see. Let me get okay for Jerry. Can I get a birth date for Jerry?
Uh, September the 23rd, 1964.
Okay, got you. Okay. Then can I get a birthday for Byron?
August, what are you? August the 22nd, 1967.
Okay. All right. So they weren't too far apart. Okay. So life in Amarillo, Texas. Now back to your husband Eddie. What did he do for a living?
He worked at the nuclear plant, a place called Pentex.
Okay.
Is that the name of it, Eddie? The plant was Pentex, and he was there for 30 how many years? 38 years.
Okay.
And
Wonderful.
I worked at Bell Helicopter for about 13 years.
You worked at okay. You called a helicopter company.
Uh-huh, Bell Helicopter.
Okay.
And it shut down, so I got laid off, and then it came back, but I didn't go back. I didn't try to go back, but I just worked those 13 years, and I did some sitting work and and stuff like that, and then until we got ready to leave.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And I got, let me see. Okay, and I got another question that I forgot to ask. But okay, what church did you all grow up going to?
We always went to Macedonia Pentecostal Church, the
Okay.
church that all the wait a minute. Okay, in Amarillo we went to a church called Jubilee Apostolic Church.
Okay, got you. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. I wanted, yeah. So Macedonia and Diana, and then Jubilee Apostolic. So were
We
you raised in the apostolic
Apostolic
faith?
faith, yes, yes.
Okay,
Where back in the day where all of the older people in Diana went,
yeah.
lots of them went. Some went to the Baptist church, and some went to Macedonia.
Okay, got you. Okay. Was Macedonia like going to Macedonia? Did they have were they pretty strict as far as decorum? Like what you wear and what you're not
I
supposed to wear.
think they were, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I'm familiar with the holiness faith.
That's what it
What
was, holiness. Uh-huh.
holiness? Yeah. What was your okay? Were you what were you as far as music? Because I know that some families and churches are pretty strict on that. Did you like listen to regular kind of secular music and dance, or no?
We would, we would listen to it and sneak and dance, you know, but, uh, but it wasn't too much of that going on.
Okay, gotcha. And I was kind of yeah, I was kind of looking for that. Like I was basically asking, like, hey, did you kind of sneak and dance? 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
familiar with the. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it was the church that I think your grandmother and them. It was the same faith
Mhm.
that they went to back
Yes, yes,
then.
yeah, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, ma'am. Okay, okay. So yeah, so
But then
sometimes.
the older people before Pentecostal come through there, it was just the Baptist church. And remember vaguely, I remember I guess, great Aunt Classy,
Okay, yeah.
whatever she was.
Uh
At
huh.
first they were most of them down there were Baptists. And then some of them, when the Pentecostal came through, some of them converted
Gotcha,
to the
gotcha.
Pentecostal church.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm because we're kind of like segueing into the lineage part, and we're all like I said, we're over halfway finished. So like I said, once again, I appreciate your patience. I was told that there was a woman, a woman, what was she like a kind of a prophesizer, or I
Well,
can't say it. That,
prophecy,
yeah, that
they
that came
came to,
through. I'll go.
uh-huh.
Is that story correct about a woman that came through and really, started holding revivals and got people to convert
Yeah,
from Baptist to
yeah, but
apostolic?
it was way before my time. But
Okay,
but that's the story that I heard.
okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay, great. Let me see. All right, so let's move into lineage. And kind of like specific family history. Okay, your mother's name was Miss Rennie King, right? King,
Ronnie,
Ronnie.
King. Uh-huh.
All right. Okay, so who were her parents?
Her mother's name was her dad's name was John Noble King.
Okay.
And mama was Ronnie King Peoples. You know.
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. What do you remember about your grandparents, your mother's parents, your maternal grandparents?
Okay, mama's dad died before, when she was 13 years old. But her mother died after she did. What
Okay.
year did Big Mama die? But her name was Elberta uh, Crowe King. I was named after her.
All right, so that was your Alberta Crowe was your
grandmother.
great.
No, my
Oh,
grandmother
grandmother. Yeah, you're right. My fault. My fault. I'm looking at it wrong. Yep, you're right. Okay, so your mother, Ronnie King, and her mother was
was
Alberta
Elberta.
Crowe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got you. Got you. Okay. So yeah, so that makes us double cousins. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Um, and do was Alberta Crowe still alive while you were a kid?
Oh yeah,
Okay, what do you
yeah.
remember about her?
Oh, I remember us, when we even after we were grown, going to her house. She never did live close to us. She lived in the a Tyler vicinity, you
Okay.
know. And she was just a special grandma.
Okay. Got you. Got you.
Hmm.
Tell me about your mother, Ron. Am I saying her name right? Ronnie King.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What was her personality like?
Kind. Most people liked her real well.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I just say well liked, kind person.
Okay. Okay. What does she like to do? Like, well, like I know life
She
was, hard and worked a lot, but what is she? What's something that brought a smile to her face?
Well, she she loved her grandkids.
Okay.
She in the summertime we would can and just general work that you had to do around the house.
Mm-hmm.
She was real crafty.
Okay.
If it was something that she couldn't buy, she would make it. I remember her making dolls for us. I remember her making balls for the boys.
Okay.
Uh, other people would come to her for her to do their sewing and stuff. She was a real crafty person.
Got you. Okay.
If it had been something that, if she, I would say, if she had had money back in the day, there's no telling what she, would have been able to do.
Okay. So she definitely believed in spoiling her grandkids.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
She
Um.
had to spank them too because she had grandkids about the age of my baby brother. My baby brother was just 4 years older than Jerry.
Okay.
And so she was, I would say, a young grandmother.
Okay. Who's Jerry?
My daughter.
Oh, Jerry. What is okay? My fault. I was thinking of. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so you're saying that your Jerry wasn't too much younger than your youngest brother. Is that what you're saying?
Jerry was 4 years younger than Bunche, my youngest brother.
Okay, got you. Okay. Um, so your like your cousins and extended family on your mother's side, were you pretty close with them? And then also like what last names? Like I said, I know that I think you said your mother was a well, I'm sorry, your mother's mother was a Crow. So what is
Uh-huh.
yeah, so what do you remember any cousins on that side of the family?
Oh yeah. Um and she well, what do you want to know?
Do you remember were you friend like do
Yeah,
you remember any cousins on that side
yeah.
of the family? Yeah.
Yes, I remember my some of my grandmother's sisters and
Okay.
brothers and um yeah, from another little community out from Gilmer. Well, it was just a bunch of folk. My grandmother's mother had 16 children.
Okay.
So it was just, and from the neighboring communities, around. So yes,
Mhm.
I knew quite a few of them.
Okay. Um, so who was let me see, who was the father of Alberta Crowe? Alberta Crowe. Who were her parents?
Uh, Her dad, I think his name was Will Crowe,
Okay.
and her mother was Liziella um, Jeffrey Crowe.
Okay. So you got that Jeffrey name popping up as well as the Crowe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, got you. In my
Mm-hmm.
in my great, let me see, great.
Ain't classy.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. My great grandmother's is classy, and then my great was Lucy
Okay.
Jeffries Crowe.
I think that Liziella Jeffrey, I think her and Aunt Classy were sisters.
Okay, it might be some, possibly. Like I said, well, we'll look that up. Okay. So this is great information on your mother's side, and it's very interesting. That's why I always tell people that you need to know who your relatives are, because you're, especially if you're, from a smaller town, because everybody's related. Man,
Yeah.
I tell you what. Okay. All right. Let's move over to your father's side. Okay. So your
Okay.
father's name was J.D. People Senior. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And was he okay? Was he the oldest? Okay, like can you name his siblings?
I can name some of them.
Some
Uncle.
of them.
Okay, Uncle David was the oldest.
Okay.
You okay? Now who are we talking about?
We're
My
talking
dad.
about, yeah, your dad's siblings. Yeah.
Okay, Uncle David was the oldest,
Okay.
and then I think we called him Uncle Slum, but his name was Cornelius, I think.
Gotcha.
Was
Okay.
and then Aunt Verge.
Okay.
You remember Aunt Verge?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, no, I can name some of them, but they may not just be in order. And
Yeah.
then I think your grandfather, Uncle
Mhm.
William, was, I
Yeah.
think he might have been about the third.
Okay. Yeah.
And
That.
then, after Aunt Budge off in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Then,
Arlene.
yeah, Aunt Sis
Yeah. Ain't
is
sis.
Arlene.
Yeah.
But she was on up there. But I can name some of them, but maybe not in order. And
Okay.
then Uncle AD,
Okay.
and then Daddy JD,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and then
I'm sorry. Go
there
ahead.
was there was a Uncle Dump, Uncle Robert.
Okay.
You got him,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Robert. Um. Oh, Uncle BB, and then Daddy and Uncle BB, and uh, hmm,
Yep. And I think there was one that moved to New Mexico.
that was the youngest boy,
Okay.
Uncle. What was the name, Eddie?
His name is
Uncle Land, Eugene.
yeah, Eugene. Yeah,
Eugene.
Land. Yep. Eugene. Yep.
And Aunt Tip was the youngest.
Okay. Yep. Ain't Tip. Yeah. Uh,
Grandma she had a bunch of kids. I had the names of all of them, but I
no,
don't
it's
have.
okay. Yeah. We have it written down. I'm just, like I said, jogging your memory. What do you remember about like what? Tell us about your father's kind of like personality. Like what what was he like?
Dad and Dad was the type of person like to go. I think that ran in their blood.
Hmm.
You know, and go places. But he 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 was a hard worker. Uh, um, he. I don't know what.
That's okay. It's okay. What
All
did
of
he?
them,
I'm
most
sorry.
of them, I think, like to drink.
Okay, so you drank a little bit, and the thing is, with these interviews, like for me, and I know that some topics are sensitive to people. Like me, I'm a history guy, and I love. And the thing is, I like to paint people as human. Because
Uh-huh,
one
uh-huh.
day, my grandkids be talking about me, and they definitely know that, I'm human, and I got things that I do. So, like I said, it's great that we can like paint people as like human beings. Where they got good things, and then some things, might not be quite as much, whatever. But I think that's important, getting some of these personality traits. Okay. So your daddy was a hard worker. He went some places, drank a little bit. Do you remember your grandparents on your father's side?
Yeah, I remember Grandma and Grandpa well. Uh,
Okay.
Cornelius,
Hmm.
and then Laura.
Okay. What was your grandpa's personality like? Your grandpa Cornelius.
Oh, just he was old by the time we got around, and he would walk the road and visit, and I think he worked in that bottom down there, Care Florence bottom down
Okay.
there where most of the people worked at.
Okay.
But I don't remember much activity. He would go to church. He knew the Bible real well.
Okay.
Um, like I said, he had too many grandchildren to take up with too many of us,
Uh-huh.
But um, I remember my grandmother. I was surprised when I found out how young she was when she had her first child.
Okay.
But
How old
nah,
was she when she had her first child?
grandma was, I think, about 12.
You, ooh, okay. Yep, that's a that's life. Back then, you talking about if you were born in uh if you were born in 1943. So yeah, she's from, like the early
I
1900s. Okay.
remember when I found out about it. I thought, now that old man should have been should have
Yeah.
been ashamed of himself. But
Yeah, and that's the reason why I asked, those questions of you as a black, girl, because sometimes the law didn't really protect girls the way that the law protects girls now. So
I guess
it's
they
the reality.
didn't go to the law. I guess her parents gave her to him. I think she might have been their oldest child too.
Hmm.
A young girl and this old man. I don't know, but
Okay. Because and I'm not sure. Like one thing we'll look up is their age gap, because I don't really remember their age gap
I
being
think it
that
was about.
drastic.
I think it was about. I think Grandpa was about 20, and
Okay.
Grandma was about 12.
Okay. Got you. Okay. Okay. Um, all right. So, what do you remember about your grandma and her personality? By the time that you could kind of start remembering.
She would come and visit us and stuff, but she didn't want you messing with AC. She would protect AC. AC lived with her,
Okay, so
and
AC was kind of like her favorite
yeah,
child.
yeah,
Okay.
she raised him. From his mother gave him up, and so you remember AC,
So AC. Okay, hold on. So you're talking about AC, her grandchild, not her child. Her
her
grandchild.
AC grandchild. I don't know
Okay.
anything about. Aunt Tip was her youngest, so that might have been. If you said she had a favorite child, that might have been her favorite child.
Uh huh. Okay. So AC. Now who was AC's daddy?
Uncle BB.
BB. Okay,
His
got
name was AD.
Hey, okay, got you. Okay. And I remember seeing like the ACs and ADs, and I would get kind of confused because they would
Mm-hmm.
kind of be sprinkled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got
But
you,
then
got you.
there also was a AD Junior.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. Okay. Um, so Laura, our grandma, great grandmother Laura,
Lord,
she's a
uh-huh.
Harris. Do you
Uh-huh.
remember any of your Harris cousins?
And no, they lived over at Pleasant Hill.
Okay.
And I don't Jared been coming in contact with some of them, but no, I don't know many of them.
Okay, got you.
If any, no.
Okay. Okay, now here's a question that's real specific that we've like some of us have wanted to ask. Did your grandpa Cornelius, do you remember him speaking of his own siblings?
No, no. I don't know anything about them at all.
Okay. Okay.
I
Got
don't.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, did you ever come in contact with any folks with the last name of Peoples that were from Pittsburgh?
Yes, yes. We used to go up there to some of their gatherings, but then after my brother JD died,
Mm-hmm.
well, my family hadn't had any contact with them.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Um, did you ever like just in passing in conversation, maybe at the beauty shop or at church, meet somebody and then find out that you all were related growing
Well,
up?
and when I lived in Dallas, I met some people, and their last name was Peoples, and
Mm,
one of the men looked so much like one of my uncles.
mm-hmm. Okay.
And so then when we started going to Pittsburgh to their reunions, we was a man looked just like Uncle Jim, and
Mm,
uh, uh, there were people who looked, yeah, looked like us.
gotcha, gotcha. Okay.
Uh huh.
Um, all right. A couple of just historic kind of family questions. Were you and actually I might know the answer to this. You might not have been alive yet, but okay. Do you remember hearing about the murder of your uncle William Peoples, my great grandfather?
Yes.
Okay. What do you remember about or like? Okay, you weren't alive yet, were you?
No.
Okay. What did you hear about that murder?
Well, he was beaten, by I think it was some white and black
Mm-hmm.
involved,
Yep.
and his back was broken, and I don't know. They just beat him up real bad,
Okay. Do you?
and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and my dad was the one who tied a rope around him and swam him from one side of the water wherever he was
Mm-hmm.
to shore, and said he was covered with mosquitoes real bad and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he lived long enough to tell them who did it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, white and black were involved in it.
Okay. Do you know the reason why he was beat?
No, I don't. He was a good man. He was a minister and
Mm,
stuff. Uh, but I just people, these black men, I guess they. I don't know. I just don't know. I just heard that people would say Uncle Goodney was a good man,
mm-hmm.
but it may have been some affairs and stuff going on.
Okay. All right. So potentially affairs, and I had heard, and I might have read because I did find a document, like an actual legal document of the trial of the black man that was involved. So I
Hmm.
had heard that it was potentially they were running a bootleg, and they said that he had told the authorities about their bootlegging enterprise. So that's one thing that I heard. So
Yeah,
I'll
yeah, I
definitely.
heard. I
Mm,
heard that too.
okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And then, the and these men that ran that area down there, they were old powerful men.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No,
That kind of take advantage of people and stuff.
hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that kind of matches up. Okay. And then another question. Do you remember my great grandmother Precious's father? His name was Marion George. Do
I
you remember
remember him. I
him?
remember him.
Okay. What do you remember about him?
Well, uh, I remember they used to. I remember them coming. Baby, give me a little water. No, I have some here. I remember them coming out of the bottom in the wagon, and I remember him and Classy coming up to the house. I was too little to remember much,
Mm-hmm.
but I, I think he, I think, I think he was kind of mean.
Okay, he's kind of mean. Why do you kind of say he was kind of mean? Like, what do you like? What kind of gave you the impression, that he might have been a little mean?
Well, my great grandmother was Aunt Classy's sister,
Mm-hmm.
and he shot and killed my great grandmother's husband.
Okay, I faintly remember that story. Okay, so
Uh
yeah,
huh. He was the one that killed my great grandmother. Will Crowe.
wow. Okay, were you alive for that, or is that something that you was
That was
passed on?
way before my time.
Okay. Okay. All right. And yeah, as far as our family history research, Marion George is a mysterious figure. We have documentation of him kind of appearing in East Texas as a young adult, and he was boarded, like on the census documents. They called it boarding. He was boarding with a family, but we don't really have his parents and things like that. So he's somebody that we'll continue to research because
Uh
we don't really know too much about him.
huh. He like I said, ain't classy, and Uncle Will. I think Will Crowe were brothers and sisters. But he killed. I don't know for what reason. I don't remember Mama saying, but he killed Uncle Will Crowe.
Hmm. Okay.
Well, great grandpa Will Crowe.
Got you. Got you. And then what was I going to say? Okay, and then just real quick, when great grandfather William was killed, my grandma and them they ended up moving to Marion George's farm. So that's when my great grandmother Precious she made her way to Hobbs. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but an interesting thing is that my and you know this, but I'm just kind of saying this because this is recorded that my grandmother and all her siblings they were basically raised in East Texas. They didn't move to Hobbs until like a little bit later in their life or whatnot.
And
So
then Miss Era, you remember Miss Era?
yeah, yep, ain't there?
I,
Yep.
I remember her living down there, and I was I knew her children, most of them.
Okay. Yep.
Um,
Green. Yeah, the
but
greens.
they lived that might have been your grandparents. I remember when your grandma Precious left, and Joe K and Thomas. I
Hmm.
remember Joe K and Thomas being teenage boys, and they had those tone walkers, is what we call them, and they'd walk out from down in that bottom. They still lived with Uncle Mirren for a while.
Hmm. Yep. Okay. All right.
But
Yep.
I was pretty young though. I remember Wilma and Leslie, and them. They were teenagers,
Okay.
and I was a little thing.
Okay. So they were older than you. Okay. Because yeah, I think they were
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
late 30s. I think. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Thomas and Joe K walking up to our house and on those tone walkers, and
Yeah,
I.
those little details mean a lot. Those little details mean a lot. They paint a picture for us.
Mm-hmm.
All
No
right, so we're.
big boy. Huh?
Oh no, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just say I remember my big cousins walking up and down there on those things.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're in the last kind of portion, last couple of parts. So like I said, I appreciate you giving us this knowledge. Okay. So let's talk about your siblings. Okay. Who? Okay. Like do you remember any kind of like fun, funny things or anything about your siblings? Like who, like maybe like okay, which sibling got in trouble the most, or which sibling, might have was the babysit the younger ones or something, and maybe gave or whatever. Like what are some just fun facts about your siblings that you want to maybe point out?
If you want to call him, JD, JD was the one that got in trouble more than anybody else, and some of it he would take was taking somebody else's stuff,
Okay.
now taking the blame
Uh-huh.
for what
Okay.
others did. But um, my I was 17 years old when my youngest brother was born,
Okay, got you. Okay.
and so I Nova Jean and I both had to do babysitting because, but
Okay.
Mama was mostly at home all the time herself, you know.
Uh, okay.
But whenever she did go somewhere, but anyway, Nova Jean was already no, she had already no, she hadn't already left home when Bunche was born, but I was the more like the mama.
Okay.
Hmm.
Got you. Because let me see. Were you okay? Were you the oldest?
I was the third
Third
from the
oldest.
oldest.
Okay. Okay, my
Uh,
fault. Okay.
But then I was 17 when my youngest brother was born.
Got you. Okay. Um, all right. So what any other like what was the personality of Noble Jean? Like what was her,
She,
like
she was
personality
re-
like?
she was real sensitive. If she thought somebody wasn't feeling good, she'd be there, trying to help them and and stuff. And so that's the way she was, real sensitive.
Okay. All right. What about
Kester.
Kester? Okay, what was Kester's personality like?
He was, well, a young boy that did, worked every little chance he could, in the summers, in the hayfield or watermelon field. And I remember his first job that I remember. He worked for I think, Pepsi Cola plant
Okay.
in Longview. He was a young boy, and and then he went to the military pretty young,
Okay.
and he retired from the Air Force.
Okay. Went to the Air Force. Okay.
Uh huh.
Okay.
And
What
then
about? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Chester Earl, he
Hmm.
was always just a workaholic type person.
Okay.
Uh, in the summer, doing all he could to work and make a little money, and they were pretty good at sports.
Mm-hmm.
We had our sports was outside on the ground, didn't have no gym or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and JD was good. I think he was pretty good at sports also.
Okay. All right. And then you got John. What was John like? I guess we're getting younger than you. Okay. So John, what was
Yeah,
John's personality like?
John. John to me he was the most he was the best natured one of us. Out of
Okay.
the 10 kids, John had a good nature,
Okay.
but he wasn't too good to himself.
Okay.
But he had a good nature, when it come to other people
Mm-hmm.
and everything. Was a very good natured person.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about Al Marie?
Anne Marie, she had a very mean streak in her. She was in between those boys. It was
Uh-huh.
three boys just older than her and three boys
Yeah.
just younger than her.
Uh-huh.
So I think she thought she had to defend herself and stuff, and she would fight with anybody. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then you got
Then she
so
got married. She married Sonoris Eddie,
Eddie. Yep, yep. Okay.
and they had those two boys.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. And then we got
Mm.
got William Theodis, and Von Shea. Okay, so what do you like with them being like the youngest two? I'm not leaving out anybody, am I?
Joe, Joe is
Joe.
between Bunchey and
Oh, my
Theodis.
fault. Yeah, yep, yep. Joe. Yeah. So William Theodis,
Uh,
Joe Curtis, and Von Shea. Okay.
okay. Pretty Theodis worked a few little jobs, but he got a job at Eastman. You know Eastman Kodak?
Yes, ma'am.
He worked there, I think, 40 something years.
Mm.
Joe worked, I think, for Lone Star a little bit, and then he got on at Eastman and he retired at 30 something years. And
Okay.
Bunche, he went right out of high school. Somebody got him a job at Eastman, and he just retired in June.
Okay.
Uh huh.
So,
From he,
as you were an adult, and I guess being a lot, being like seven, like 15, 16, 17 years older, did you ever kind of like, and this is kind of just in fun, did you ever kind of tell them like, oh, y'all had it easy compared to me, or anything like that, with them? Like did you notice any maybe some extra opportunities that were afforded to them that might not have been present when you were
you
little?
know, when they came came along, uh, my dad died when Bunche was 10,
Oh, okay.
and uh, they. I don't. They still lived in the country, but I guess I, I don't know. Life wasn't just great for them either,
Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
until they got grown and was able to do stuff for themselves.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Great information. So, you speaking of your dad's funeral, that's from what I'm gathering, um, that was a pivotal moment in the formation of our family reunion. Was your dad's funeral? What are your memories of that particular day? Do you remember seeing a lot of your cousins kind of coming together for that? Because to my knowledge, that was the lightning rod that sparked the formation of, hey, let's get together outside of funerals and things of that nature.
See, I didn't go to the first few of the reunions,
Okay.
and I don't know. Um, um, yeah, I remember Dad's funeral. I was thinking about something. I remember Uncle Lynn, Uncle BB, all of them coming
Hmm.
to it. I remember Les and Wilma and them coming, and but I didn't know anything about them. Thinking about getting, because the reunions got started out of, with your mom and your grandmother and with them.
Hmm.
That's how it got started.
Okay.
Because we were still um, pretty young, and I. But anyway, hear what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
But I remember some coming to Daddy's funeral that hadn't been coming.
Okay.
That hadn't been coming down this way.
Right.
Uh huh.
Right. 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 Okay. Yeah. There's a nice there's a couple of nice pictures from your dad's funeral, and like I said, when my in a conversation with my grandmother, before she kind of lost her ability to communicate, she had mentioned around that time of kind of deciding, hey, we need to get together
Uh huh.
outside of sad occasions and things.
Yeah, I remember grandma and grandpa both died before dad, because Nova Jean had a picture of him sitting out in the yard at the church. Uh, um, my dad died in June of 1967, before Byron was born.
Okay. All right. So
And
okay. So actually, okay. And I want to make sure, like the pictures I'm thinking of, they might be. I'm pretty sure it was JD People Senior's funeral, but I'll verify. But okay, you said that was 1967.
67.
Okay, gotcha.
Uh-huh. I
Okay,
remember that, because I was expecting Byron, and it
gotcha,
was in
gotcha.
67.
Okay. So that picture might be a little older than what I kind of thought. Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right, great information.
Do you have a picture of my dad?
Well, I think we're talking about like, okay, there's a picture of your dad sitting down. That's the only picture that I've
In a
seen.
chair outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that they have a copy of around here. We don't have a picture of him.
Right. The pictures of the funeral would be there's pictures of some of the uh David Senior, I think, BB, a couple of a few others. Then also like my grandmother, my aunt, and David Jr. And his brother Elijah Peter from Fort Worth. So yeah, there's and I'm pretty sure that those pictures are from your dad's funeral.
Yeah, we have a picture of dad and I mean of the outside the house where it's a big group of them. It had all of us on it, and but this particular one had his brothers because Uncle BB hadn't been coming home for anything, but he came to Daddy's service.
Mm-hmm. Because Uncle BB lived in San
Cal-
Diego.
California, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Well,
He,
AD,
uh-huh.
but we call him BB.
Okay, right. So you had Uncle BB in San Diego as well as Uncle Slum in San Diego
When
too.
they in, yes, yeah. Uncle Slum moved to San Diego and never, didn't ever come back.
Yeah, because Uncle Slum's kids, okay, which I only want to get into that. But yeah, he had a nice number of kids with but they stayed
Eh,
back in East Texas. Okay. Yeah.
Eleonora, uh-huh,
Yeah. Now,
uh-huh.
one question, I don't want to get, because like, so we're almost finished. Uncle AD, um out of all of the original siblings on the people's side, I've never come across any of his descendants. Did he have kids? Did
AC,
they? Yeah.
you heard me talk. You heard me talk about AC.
Okay, so AC is his son.
Uh-huh. And then
Okay,
he had a
gotcha.
daughter named Mary Helen.
Okay, I've heard of that name.
And then uh uh and then AD Junior.
Okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Okay. Did they
I don't remember any of them ever coming to any of the reunions or anything.
okay. Got
The
you, got
ones
you.
that I've been to.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Got you. Okay. All right. So we're almost finished. So when was your first time coming to a family tree club reunion?
We the first one I went to was in. It might have been in Diana. Might
Okay.
have been in Diana, but for sure it was in Colorado. I went to one of my earlier ones in Colorado Springs.
Gotcha. Okay. So Diana, Colorado Springs, and then after that, you all attended most of them. I remember seeing Byron for the first time. I was like, okay, seeing, it's like me living in Louisville, Kentucky. I was never around any. Hold on.
Hmm. I've been to Louisville twice.
Right, right. Y'all just hold on for a second. Just make sure. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, it was. I heard some noise outside. Okay. So yeah. So Diana, Colorado Springs, and so forth. Do you remember any of the meetings, like the business meetings for the family reunion? Do you remember people ever kind of fussing over who was going to host or some of those things?
You know, I don't just remember too much about that, even though I've always tried to set my mind on being positive.
There you go. That's
And
good.
never was involved in much of that. You
Okay.
know, I don't remember but much of the squabbling part because I always kept myself out of it.
That's the best way to be. Okay. All right. And then do you have any other like favorite memories of any reunions, or when you all hosted it in Amarillo or
Well,
anything,
that undoubtedly was the best.
Yeah, yeah.
but I let myself enjoy them all.
Okay.
I let myself. I don't have a lot of complaints. I just try to be positive about them. Me personally.
Okay. I definitely
Hmm.
understand that. I definitely understand that. Okay. Well, that pretty much brings my questions to the end. Is there anything else you want to say? Just kind of know that we want to, like, this is gonna, like, I want to kind of save this in some type of format where this can be passed down, like where this stays with us as long as God allows us to be here on earth. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Have I helped you? Have this been productive? Have I
Yes,
helped
yes.
you out any?
Yes, yes, definitely. Like if I live closer, I'd be having Sunday dinner with you, asking you questions. Like
Okay.
I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like this
They
is
in
very,
there.
very helpful. And I like I said, and I can go on and on, but like I said, very, very helpful. And I want to kind of improve, the way that I operate, maybe even learn like some better streaming ways. Like I know that we have some relatives that have the technology and know how to do things probably better than what I can. So I definitely would
I'm
like to.
one of the older ones now.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
close. I'm close close to the oldest one that's left. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. You sure
not
are.
many in the family that's older than me that's left.
Right, right. I mean, so you're here, you're still doing your thing, and you're sharp. You know what I'm saying? You're highly intelligent. You have a great memory. So yeah, we definitely love and cherish you. And like I said, I definitely appreciate you for taking time out. Tell cousin Eddie I said hello. Is he still over there?
Yes, he's
Eddie.
waving.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Eddie, and
How you
like I
doing, man?
said, is Byron still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey,
What's up, brother?
appreciate you. Hey,
Hey,
you
ain't
doing
nothing, man.
good?
I'm good, man.
Yeah,
Just got
yeah,
home
yeah.
last night, but I'm good, man.
Okay, okay. Well, hey, I appreciate you for stepping in and helping. I'm a
Yeah.
kind of I'm gonna do this again with some other folks. I'm gonna be real strategic. But how you think it went? Do you think
I
everything
like
was
I
good?
like I like the sounds of it, brother.
Okay, okay. Everything was appropriate.
Well, oh man, yeah, man.
Okay, got you, got you. Okay,
Definitely,
well,
definitely.
yeah, I appreciate you all. You all have a blessed Sunday. We'll be in touch, and hopefully, I will see you all soon.
All right, bro. Get you some rest because I know you're just getting back home, huh?
Yeah, got you, got you. Okay, all right, y'all take care.
All right, Darren, we're gone.
All right, yo.
All right.